most people just reached out. Like in the last 24 hours, there have been a few people who DM'd who were like, "Oh, what does this mean for the project?" And it means one thing: we're just going to be going a little bit slower. We have to make sure that we're taking care of our own families and so on. And if we can't do that based off of only working within the NFT space right now, then the only option is to get a job. So I've actually been begging both of them to get a job since the beginning of this year. And so I wanted to, more than anything else, upload this video to give you guys an update. But I want to make it very, very clear about what Dirtbirds is about and what we've been about from the beginning. It's not about people getting massively, obscenely rich off of Dirtbird NFTs. In fact, the objective has been to build something fun, community-centric, and to showcase what could be done on Cardano with NFTs, because at the time, we didn't feel like a lot of projects were doing that. More projects are doing that now, but we still think there's a lot that could be done, a lot to achieve. And so those were the three goals of the projects. That's it. So if you disagree with that, or it's not what you thought it was going to be, then we don't want to lose anyone out of the community. We love everyone that's a part of the community. Even toy bots. So Derp is right around the corner. And the way that it works, if you don't know, is you earn Derp based off of the XP that you accumulate as a part of the project. And as of today, there are two ways to earn XP. There's chatting in Discord, and there's through achievements. But rather than doing traditional staking, we're just going to do sort of a pseudo staking system where all you need to do is delegate the wallet that's holding your Derp related assets. You just need to delegate with that wallet to the Derp pool to get credit for staking. One, we're doing it because that's sort of the way that Cardano does things, right? Like you don't have to lock up your ADA to get rewards off of it. And so we want to follow that same model. But number two, it would be a nightmare if you have 100 plus Derp assets, even if you have 20 Derp assets, to sign smart contracts for every single one of those, to stake those. You have your Derp related assets in a wallet, you delegate to the Derp pool, and then as long as that same wallet is one of the wallets you have associated with your Derpbirds account, then you'll get credit for those achievements. Many of those achievements will award XP on a recurring basis. The perfect specimen achievement for the OG Derpbirds, I think it's called You're So Perfect. So if you have that achievement, today you get that achievement by having a perfect specimen, and you get a flat amount of XP for having that achievement. With the rework system, you would get a recurring amount of XP every 5 days, every epoch, for having a perfect specimen bird, for having that achievement unlocked. We're taking that one step further because some really good feedback we heard from a lot of collectors. It actually sort of sucks that if you have multiple perfect specimens, you still only get one achievement. You only get the XP. So there's no incentive to have multiple. If you have 5 perfect specimens, you would get the reward for the perfect specimen achievement 5 times every epoch. Throughout Season 2, there will be multiple uses for the token, of course, and those fall into 2 different categories. One is sort of the specific roadmap features, like the story roadmap. So customizing your pred, buying character slots, which we won't talk about in this video, but there's a lot of it in the white paper. Or you could spend Derp to participate in the faction war. You could spend Derp to send your Derps off on a quest. There'll be a lot of story-specific uses for Derp, but not everyone's into the story, right? First major feature we're launching alongside of that is a sort of a raffle system where you can spend your Derp on buying raffle entries for other NFTs. So an example of this could be that we, as a project, as a team, we buy a Clay NFT, for example, or a Space Bud, or a Dead Pixel, or whatever, and you can buy raffle tickets using your Derp to win that NFT. Customizable preds. I'm so stoked for this feature. Like the gamer side of me is really excited for this feature. And there's so many things that we can do with customizable NFTs. So for example, we might do like a Dirtbirds trait pack for Pred. So in the story, they've captured a lot of the Dirtbirds, and maybe now they've figured out how to weaponize some of those traits. Or working with other projects, for example, and doing sort of collaborative traits for Pred. All of these things make me very excited. But we want to get that feature online sooner rather than later. Again, it goes back to our goal of showing what can be done, what is doable with Cardano-based NFTs. And so this idea of doing customizable dynamic NFTs, like we're really excited to get this feature online. The other reason why we want to push it out sooner rather than later is we want to add additional utility for Derp. And this is more of that story, sort of the story roadmap feature use. So if you're really into Pred and you really want to go gung-ho on customizing your Pred, we want to get something out sooner rather than later. So what that looks like, eventually, once faction wars are rolling, once we have questing and boss battles and all of these different things, you may randomly find or earn Pred traits or attributes that you could use to customize your Pred by participating in those activities. But in the short term, we still wanted to provide a way for people to get those traits that they could customize their Pred with. And so we're thinking about using that same raffle system. I shouldn't call it a raffle system at that point. We like to think of Dirtbirds as like an arcade. So there's all of these activities and these games that you can play, and you do spend your Derp token there, but you also earn Derp tokens. And you can go to the prize counter, right, just like an arcade, and turn in your tickets for prizes. And so our raffle system, like getting those, like a clay NFT, for example, is like the big gigantic prize that every kid wants at the arcade, maybe. But we want there to be different types of prizes. And so some of the prizes, and where you probably see where I'm going with this, could be unidentified Pred gear. So you could buy a random Pred gear. You have no idea what it is you're buying. It's gonna be totally random. But you'd be able to buy a piece of Pred gear that you could then customize your Pred NFT with. You need help with minting? Okay, well, pay us in ADA. And also, how can we find some sort of benefits for the Dirtbirds holder through this, this working relationship? And then also, let's get a public announcement of how we're working together. That is going to be sort of the requirements of working with other projects. And again, I should say there are a lot of projects who are reaching out to us right now. We're having to be very picky about the projects that we work with and the opportunities we pursue, because there's only so many hours in the day. And not only do we all have to work salaried, jobs so we can buy food to feed our families and pay our rent, but we also have to build Dirtbirds.